What is up, guys? It is the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm back to bring you some more interesting lore and behind-the-scenes look at the brand spanking new box set entitled ShadowSpear. So if you guys didn't check it out, yesterday I went through the models that were being released by GW, both in ShadowSpear and also that has to do with the whole Vigilus campaign. So I talked about the Daddy of Chaos, Abaddon the Despoiler, I talked about the Claimer of Worlds, Harkin World Claimer, and I looked a little bit into the box set of ShadowSpear. I should have waited one more day because, lo and behold, the Warhammer community page has released an article detailing the freaking stats behind these characters. One more day and I could have had it all in one video. So, instead of me going through the models of the Imperium side, today we're going through the stats of these chaotic models, and hopefully I could do a 2-for-1 tomorrow. That is, if they release the Imperial side stats before then, but if not, we'll see what happens. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Now, if you guys want to take a dive into this yourselves, I will post the link to the Warhammer community article, that way you can check out everything in greater detail. So, beginning with the Chaos Space Marines. Pretty much doesn't say anything has changed, so if you got the Chaos Codex, the stats and everything has remained the same. This next one is where things get bulky. Steroids and a lot of genetic manipulation has been going on behind the scenes, because the guys that look like a mix of Obliterators and Hellbrutes are actually Obliterators. So I was half right, and I really love this model. Basically, it's a Hellbrute just that looks better. Honestly, it looks amazing. So, since they are considered Obliterators, they can pretty much do what Obliterators do. They've got the flesh metal gun, which basically, I think it works as of rolling D3s. So you roll your D3s, and based on the characteristics, that's the amount of shots, the AP, and the strength, I believe. So yeah, really awesome. And not just that, but they're bigger, so you're gonna have a better line of sight, but the downside is you're gonna be a bigger target, which these guys are gonna be a target because they're good and they look cool. So rule of cool always means kill the most threatening looking one. And I think they have like an extra wound compared to the normal Obliterators, which they should, because I mean, look at them, they're freaking hulking behemoths. And the cherry on top for these guys is that their flesh metal guns are Assault 6. Yes, this is amazing. 6 shots that could potentially do a lot of damage, like just crunching the numbers, because you're rolling D3s. So basically, if you go down into the flesh metal gun profile, it says when this unit is chosen to shoot, you roll 3d3, one after the other. Basically what this means is that your first roll is added to 6 to determine the strength. So potentially you can go up to a strength 9. The second roll is the AP, you'd have AP 1, 2, or 3. And finally the last roll is the damage. So you can have 1 damage, 2 damage, or 3 damage. So imagine 6 shots at strength 9. That's crazy, especially if they're doing 3 damage each. This is definitely a devastating unit, especially since now you can take them as a single or in doubles, as opposed to having to go with a 3-man squad, which is what I believe the Obliterators used to be. So I am loving this model. Moving on, we're talking about the Possessed, or the Greater Possessed, as what they're being called here. Basically, they're possessed. Just better possessed, greater possessed, like how they put it. So they're not very intimidating in my opinion. They do have an ability called the Locus of Power, which means that if you're within 6 inches of that unit, you get to add a 1 to your strength of a demon that has the same Mark of Chaos and Legion as you. I guess they're so demonically empowered that they make anybody else around them demonically empowered, which could be cool if you have like a whole bunch of them. I don't know if it stacks, but could be pretty interesting to see. And then we come across to the crab guy, Chaotic Crab. So basically, it is, I don't know, it just reminds me of like a Tyrannid. It's got the Excruciator Cannon, which is an awesome name. 36 range, D3 attacks, strength is a +2, AP is a -1, damage is D3. So, I don't know, it seems pretty okay. There's also a ability called the Reservoir of Demonic Energy. You basically get to add 1 to any demonic ritual summoning rolls that are within 6 inches of this guy. In my opinion, summoning demons or anything like that was never really viable. But again, our play group may be different than yours. Maybe summoning is what you're all about, so this would be a cool guy to have in your army to basically make sure that your summoning goes according to plan. And finally we come to my favorite model, the Master of Possession, which, surprise, surprise, he's a Psyker. I mean, he just looks like a Psyker. But anyway, this guy's really badass because he can manifest 2 psychic powers a turn. So, Smite plus anything else, because Smite's really good. He has an ability called the Right of Possession, meaning that if Psykers suffer perils of the warp, as long as they're within 12 inches of a model with this ability, they suffer perils of the warp on a double, not just a double 1 or a double 6, because that was a change from 7th to 8th edition. It used to be that psychic powers basically made you more risky to the warp, unless you were like Grey Knights or Thousand Suns, and that's basically what this is going back to. So it's making it harder to cast psychic powers, or I guess it's making it easier to suffer perils of the warp as long as you're within 12 inches of this guy, which it's alright, I guess. But then doubling up, he has the ability called Devourer of Magic. So basically, if he is considered your warlord, you can attempt to deny an additional psychic power in each enemy psychic phase. And if you do successfully deny it, you regain a lost wound, which is freaking awesome, because that's not just saying try to do psychic powers in front of me, but you can attempt to deny it, and if you do, you just ate his magic and just gained yourself, you know, an extra wound, which is really badass. And on top of that, there is a Demonkin Warlord trait that has been added to the pseudo codex that comes inside of it, and it basically gives you the power of being a Warp Lord, meaning you can re-roll 1s when taking a psychic test for your Warlord. So it's basically a kind of a get out of jail free card, because rolling 1s is never good when you're trying to take a psychic test, especially since you can perils. So with this, it's basically giving you another chance to make things go right, and I'm loving it. I really like what they're doing with this, with the whole kind of bringing psychic disciplines back, since this is kind of like a demonkin psychic discipline, which hopefully they bring back all the ones from past, like pyromancy, fulmination, all that kind of stuff, because it was really awesome trying to differentiate your army instead of just giving it like the vanilla psychic powers. So here's to hopefully more psychic powers in the future. And yes, it has been confirmed that the Imperium will have their rules kind of showcased tomorrow, so expect the rules showcase as well as a model kind of review from me tomorrow. And that's all I got for today. Let me know what your thoughts are behind this. What do you think of the Obliterators? What do you think about these psychic powers giving you a little bit more terms of diversity, because that's just awesome. And let me know, out of the ones we went through here, what is your favorite model so far? Also, let me know if you're going to be picking up this box set, because I know I am. And stay tuned, because we will be doing a giveaway when ShadowSpear officially releases. This has been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll catch you guys the next time. Peace.
Oh,